Okay, so now that we're recording, everybody, so again, welcome to our first executive committee meeting of the year. This is the agenda, and actually there's some modifications because technically this was September's agenda, and so this is what we were going to present in September. So for instance, land use, their meeting is tomorrow, and so I don't know if there's going to be anything that comes of that. And the same thing with the rest of it. So I'm just going to go through this, and I'm going to add one. I'm going to actually take something out of the agenda, which is the member code of conduct policy. And I'm going to refer that to the discipline committee. And I'm going to add something to the agenda, which is merit increases. Oops, let's see. So I don't know if you can see that. So merit increases for CB staff. Okay, so that's going to be the agenda for the evening, and so we're going to go ahead and move forward and go in that order. Okay, so to that end, let's go ahead and get started. So I know that land use may or may not have an issue to bring to us for discussion on next week. I guess it depends on how the meeting is going to go. And right now, I don't see anyone from land use here. Oh, well, I see the vice chair here, Carla. Hi, Carla. So I don't know if they're going to have anything or not. I know economic development, more likely than not, probably will have something for us.
The Burke, I'm here also.
What's that?
I'm here also, the chair of
Oh,
land
Mr.
use.
Stricker. Okay, I didn't see Mr. Stricker, so I didn't recognize your number.
Yeah.
So, Mr.
I'm
Stricker, we don't know
6'9".
whether or not you're going to have something to vote on or not because we haven't had the meeting is tomorrow. The joint land
That's
use
correct.
housing committee meeting is tomorrow.
Yes, that's correct.
Right. So we don't know if anything's going to be to vote on or not. So I guess we can, play it by ear because I want to, get the agenda out, the general board agenda out as soon as possible. But I would imagine, based on what I've seen for economic development, that we're going to have something to vote on, right, Ms. Benitez? Ms. Benitez? Yes, I know. We're more likely than not going to have something to vote on with economic development, right?
Right.
Yes. Okay. So as far as I know, that is the only one. I mean, because the elections are going on right now, so I guess Clinton will issue, I guess, results being when that's done. But again, he would do that, and then I don't think there's anything else because I know transportation didn't meet. A lot of the committees, dang it, didn't meet this month. So, is there anything that I don't know about that we need to vote on, Ms. Claude or Mr. Lanzano, from your committees?
Not for me.
No, okay, Ms. Claude, okay. So it looks like that's it as far as that is concerned. So moving right along. When we have our committee meetings, just make certain that we're keeping good records. I think one of the things that we stress about is keeping good records, and I know most of you have been doing a good job of that. So just make certain that you keep good records. So obviously it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out dissertation. Just pretty much who was there, your committee members that were there, in particular your committee members who were there with excuse, without excuse, and then pretty much what was discussed, what was voted on, if there were any recommendations, and we can keep it moving. Okay. So again, that was part of the parliamentary procedure that we discussed. And I know, Ms. Clyde, you were in on that meeting that they had back in August, and I think Ms. Benitez, you were there too in that session that we had back in August. One of the things that I will say is that, again, in looking at the rules again, so once we make our recommendations from our committees, as I said, we can just bring it right to the floor without a second. So again, you guys can tell me, Ms. Benitez and Ms. Clyde, since you were there, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am because I asked a question. while I was there, right? Yeah, so I asked the question if you remember while I was there. So okay, right. So we can move forward with that. All right, great. So I just want to say that because that helps us move the meeting along faster. I think, I was talking with somebody not too long ago, and the one thing that I said that, we meet for 3 hours, which is nice, but then of course it's too long. So, I'm going to try to get those meetings down if I can. And so I think this will help speed it up a little bit. Okay. So are there any questions, Executive Committee? Nope. Okay. All right. Moving right along. Committee member attendance policy. So as everyone knows, and in certain cases, so for the committees that have met this year, some committee members are not letting their chairs know that they're not showing up. Okay. So I think that has happened in particular with transportation last month, as well as it happened with land use and housing, as well as parks. So I say all that to say that we have to be very, very careful in making certain that our committee members show up. So for instance, with this week's meeting, I know that a member let me know, well, I'm not going to be at my committee meeting. Well, it's not for that person to let me know, it's for that person to let the committee chair know. So, we're being very, very strict about this because again, all of you guys are working, and just like the borough president just said about 30 minutes ago, we're not getting paid for this. And so for committee members that aren't showing up, we have a policy that if you miss 3 committee meetings, we bring you up before to be voted out the board. And so that's something that, again, I asked you to take seriously, because as I said, if you're here as chairs and you've got committee members that are working, what we really need is we really need everybody on board. And so if we have people that don't even have the decency to let us know that they're not going to show up, then how can we really count on them when we have a very pressing issue? So that's the only thing that, I want to say. Hi, Denise. That's the only thing that I want to say, to that. So let's just make sure that we do that. But again, most of you guys are pretty good with that, so I don't think there are any questions with that. But I don't want people to be hindering you on making your job harder as committee chair. So let's make sure that we keep good attendance records as well. Any questions on that? No? Okay. So moving forward, theme for the year. One of the things that, we were actually moving along nicely last year until, of course, a lot of stuff happened. And unfortunately, some of the stuff is still happening. But, I thought about something that, really has held true. And I think about the support that I've received from you as committee chairs, because you have been my strength. Each and every one of you committee chairs have been my strength, because as you know, as being a leader is tough, but and being human is even tougher. And unlike, I'm not like Christ our Lord. I think none of us are. Christ may have been able to compartmentalize it, but I'm flesh and blood, as are most of you. And some of the things hurt. But nonetheless, we got through it, and we still were able to get things done. And so I thought about a theme, and I want to know what you ladies and gentlemen thought about it. And it's kind of sort of a take on what we use at Benedictine, and as Benedictine is my high school. Benedictine, we have a theme, and it's forward, always forward. And that's for a multitude of reasons. And then I thought about what we've been through as a board and what we're doing. And I thought about the love I have for each and every one of you. And I thought about this, and I want to know what you thought about it. The theme for this year, moving forward together. because again, as I told you, I can't do anything without you. And, you guys are really the heart and soul of what makes this entire operation work. So I thought about that and I want to get your opinion on it moving forward together. Okay, so everybody doesn't have to speak at once. you know. Okay. So is that good or is that bad that I'm not hearing anything moving forward together?
Silence is golden.
Yeah, I know. You know what? So I'm just gonna say that's it, and let's just move on. Because like I said, I'm trying to get you guys out of here ASAP. So that's fine. So that'll be our theme for the year, moving forward together. Okay, since I'm not hearing anything. Is that all right?
The
All right. So
model,
everybody's saying yes. So let's move forward with that. All right.
it's a
So
great
moving
song.
forward
Maybe
together.
we should put it on our stationery.
What's that?
Maybe we should put that on our stationery also.
Well, you know what? I think so, Mr. Stricker. I put it on, whenever we put up the agenda, I always put, the theme for the year. And of course, last month it was TBD. Hello, why am I getting tongue tied today? But, yeah, moving forward together. I mean, I think that is great if it goes on the stationery, and a person we need, to redo that anyway. So, I mean, I like that.
Because whoever gets our letter knows we mean it.
Exactly, that we're moving forward together. I mean, I like that. I like that. So are you suggesting that we get new stationery, Mr. Stricker?
I'm sorry?
I said, are you suggesting that we get new stationery and have that on there moving forward together?
Yeah. Get some new stationery and put that motto on it.
Okay. All right, so we'll make that happen. Okay. We'll make that happen. So I'll talk with George and Ursula and we'll figure out how we can make that happen. The next thing I want to talk about is new members. So as you guys know, we had 9 new members. And as I say, right now they're in a new member orientation, which I want to get back to, which is why this is not going to be that long. As I said, right now, 7 of our 9 board members, new members, are there. There are 2 of them that are not there. So I guess ultimately we need to find out why they're not there. And hopefully, they can be there at some point or find out what will happen in a not too distant future. So at this point, before I left, they had a greeting from the deputy borough president is running the meeting. And, they were introduced to Tom Lacania, and they were also introduced to the community board representatives, which of course in our case is Alexis. And, Mr. Ish Gonzalez is the one who represents the other community boards. They had a talk or a briefing or introduction from the borough president himself. And they also had the do's and don'ts of community board service from the attorney, which is, I think, Mirtha. I forget her last name, but in any event, she's the counsel or the outgoing counsel for community boards. And so right now they're getting their indoctrination into land use issues. And so they're learning about land use. And I'm sure they're going to have questions. Normally after their orientation, we do our own CB12 orientation. And we've been doing this since, at least I've been first vice chair anyway. We did it with, like I said, Denise Bond and Kevin Eichelberg, even though he's a year ahead of her. We did it with Beatrice and Harry and their group. And so we're going to be doing it again, probably sometime next month for the new members. And hopefully they can get a fantastic history lesson from Madam First Vice Chair, in that she's just so doggone thorough with the history and everything. And hopefully she can get them excited in the only ways that she can do. So just report on our new members, and they introduce themselves, everybody. So that's great. So moving on to the next item, which is district budget consultation updates. So for pretty much for the month of September and in the first part of October, George, myself, and Ursula have been at district budget consultation meetings. And I have to apologize to you because if you remember last year, I was able to consolidate everything that, we received and put it in I think I put it in a Google Drive, right, Ageria? Yeah, okay, it was in a Google Drive. So, I want to do that this year, and I still want to do that, but right now I've been swamped with, other things. As many of you know, my house, along with some of you, was affected by Hurricane Ida, so I'm still trying to do that as well as some other things. So hopefully by the weekend, I will be able to consolidate everything from district budget consultations and put it up on the Google Drive for you to review. I want to see those documents. So I know that, I haven't had a chance to speak with George as of yet as to, putting that together, but that's something that we really need to really, and I want this to be inclusive of all you committee chairs. So think about, what are some of the things that you've done throughout the year for your committees, and then how would you want that to read in our district needs statement? So I think that that is something that is being done right now. Hi, Ted, welcome to the meeting. So we're doing that right now, and I want to say that district needs statement is probably needs to be done within the next week or so. So what I need you to do, and I know that again, I haven't done my part yet, but think about what has happened in your meeting so far, and think about what some of the asks are that I know that we may have talked about privately, and let's get that to George and Ursula so that we can put that in the ask. If you don't know, we're not going to get anything if we don't ask for it. You know what I mean? So let's make certain that we ask for what we want. So for instance, if we want money for X, Y, and Z, or if we want, for instance, I know that in speaking with the inspector for the 4-7, he's down 14 officers. So obviously, he would want more officers. And as you know from Ms. Cornell's survey, one of the things that is needed, of course, is one of the number one answers that we want what? More police protection. So we've got to ask for these things if we want it. So committee chairs, think about what you need, and let's see if we can put something together to get to George and Ursula and put in our district needs statement. Okay, and like I said, I'll do my part and hopefully get that to you by this weekend. That all of the things that we got from budget consultations, so that each of you can take a look at it and see what the responses were to the district manager's questions and any questions that we may have generated in the past that was put on. And then, as I said, Office of Management and Budget put that together, and all the agencies came to us. So think about that, and let's come up with something. Okay. All right. Well, I tell you, we are enthusiastic here today. So let's move on. And I'm almost done. So as far as status update on CB12's outreach efforts, I've got 4 things listed here. I've got our website, our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and the newsletter. So I think the Facebook page and the YouTube channel speaks for itself. I do believe that George maintains the Facebook page. I'm almost certain that he does. And I know that the YouTube channel, excuse me, as soon as a meeting is finished, for the most part, is uploaded 2 or 3 days later. So I don't think that that's where we have an issue. One of the things that I think that we discovered, in particular when we were out doing the surveys, myself and Beatrice and all of you that did the surveys, in particular the old folks, they would always say, they say, well, Dr. Burke, we have no idea when the meeting is, or we don't get any communications like we used to, or back when your grandmother was alive, we did X, Y, and Z. Can we do X, Y, and Z? And I said, we'll look into it. So one of the things that I know that we still need assistance with is our website. If I look at our website, and even I know some things were uploaded, but if I look at our website in comparison to websites not only from other community boards and other in the Bronx, yet more in Manhattan or Queens and so forth. And so I think we need to really get that up to par. And so, I know that that's something that we can discuss. Now I want to put that in your brains to think about. I know that I've got Sydney and Keisha working on a newsletter. And as I said, I know that at the moment they've got a draft that they're working on. So hopefully they'll have that for us by the next meeting. But we will need to get that out. I mean, I know that technology is great, but not everybody has a computer. As many of you know, I tell the story of my mother, which I love to death, but her and technology are like oil and water. So, as I said, so we really need to find a way to reach everybody. We're doing a decent job, but I think we can do better. So I'm going to leave that up to the first vice chair, because that's, again, in her portfolio to get our website up and running. I know she's going to talk about that a little bit later. I'm going to skip the member code of conduct, because that's going to go into the discipline committee. So they're going to handle that. So I know that they're working on that. So I'm going to leave that up to them. And the last thing that I want to mention before leaving, because as I said before, the other thing on the agenda is merit increase. And I think we need to go into executive session for that. And so I'm going to leave on that note. But the only other thing that I have is the consolidation proposal. And I know that there were some ideas that were floating around about, what committees are similar. And so I want to, discuss this in particular, because I look at, Tolene's committee, and I look at, and that's education and youth services, in library and cultural affairs, and they're kind of sort of similar. I know another idea was postulated about transportation and capital projects, and combining with public safety. And so, unfortunately, all of our chairs aren't here, but I think that's a discussion that, we really need to have and think about. And so I want to put that on your radar and talk about it next month, because as I said before, I'm trying to get back to this this new member meeting. Okay, so before I turn this over and, like I said, and ask for, and before we go into merit increases, I'm going to stop recording, because I'm going to recuse myself from that particular discussion because of everything that's been going on. I'm going to recuse myself, and so I'm going to hand that over to the first vice chair to run that part. So before I stop, I need to actually turn this part over to you, Madam First Vice Chair. So I'm trying to figure out how to make you the host before I leave. Here we go.
Yeah, you could go ahead. You could make me a co-host.
Well, I'm going to leave altogether.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that, and I'm looking to see how to. Here we go. Let's see. Assign. Alrighty. So it is not. Maybe I do not know how to do it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I need to go.
Okay.
So because this is going to be on you, and so George, like I said, and I don't want to take up too much more time. So I'm going to stop recording.
Okay.
And ask that we go into executive session for that discussion. So other than that, I'm done as far as my part of the meeting is concerned. So are there any questions before I leave, before I start recording?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Do we have, it's 16 members here. Do we have a quorum of executive committee members?
Do we have, what you say?
A quorum.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. So the answer would be no. So we can't vote on it. We're not. We can't vote on anything because half of them. So I think we've got 11 committees. Yeah, actually, no, we do. Let's see. One is committee chair. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Anything ad hoc?
5. Let's see. 6. So we've got 6. We've got 11 committees. So that's.
You have a majority.
What's that?
You have a majority.
Yeah, that is a majority. Yeah, we do have a quorum.
Do you have I see ad hoc committee members here. Do we have the 11 standing committee chairs? And are we counting ad hoc?
Well, I mean, I did, but I mean, even if we look at that, let's see, hang on. If that's the case, you've got what, 1, 2, 3, but you're right, but that's not listed. Let's see, sustaining committees would be disciplined. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we do that, and I'm not counting the first vice, well, actually, let's see, yeah, let's see, that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we've got 11 committees, that means that we don't have the quorum. Actually, where's Mr. Lanzano? Mr. Lanzano's here. Okay, so yes, we do. If he's here, that's 6. I forgot Mr. Lanzano's blacked out. But let's see, 1, 2. Let's see, hang on. I got you, Mr. Lanzano. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So there'll be a quorum of executive committee members to go into executive session. Ted, you got your hand up.
Yes, did you say we were voting on merit increase?
I can't hear you, Ted. What'd you say?
Did you say we were voting on merit increase?
Well, no, I said we're going to go to executive session to discuss it. I'm recusing myself, so I'm not going to be in on those discussions.
Okay, is this a directive from somewhere, or how did it come about?
Yeah.
Well,
How did it come about? Well,
listen, as we had it on the thing before, you can vote on a merit increase without having to go into executive session. We've abused our executive session in the past. Now, if you want to go and talk about dollars and cents, then yes, we have to go into executive session. But if you're just voting on it, you can have that vote right now. The other thing that I'll say is it's not just 11 committees. You have to count yourself, Michael, and the first vice chair. You're executive officers. So it's the 5 executive officers plus the 11 committees. Now, we have some executive officers that happen to chair, like John. John's not here. So again, I don't know. I'm sorry, I just don't know because, I'm not counting Beatrice, but if you count the committees, the ad hoc committees, then we have 4 ad hoc committees and there only 1 is here.
no, I took Beatrice out, so
Okay.
I didn't count myself.
Well, you should. You're an executive member, so you have to count yourself, the first vice chair, the second, third, second secretary, treasurer. So we're missing. Is Tolene? Tolene's not
No,
here.
Toleen's not here. No, actually, she just popped in. She just popped
Okay.
in.
Good.
Right.
We have
So if that's the
Tolene.
case, I mean, we still have the quorum, but even though I'm recusing myself, but we like to say because Madam First Vice is going to run this. Okay, so even if that's the case, we still, if you count me, then that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's see here, 8, 9. So we have 9, of course, and as you know, some of our XOs serve as committee chairs as well.
Yeah.
So we have the quorum, and that's that. So to answer your question, Ted, all that's going to be discussed when we go into executive session. So it became, I became aware of it last month. So I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to say anything. And I just want to, as I said, I'm recusing myself from the discussion. So any other questions? I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to leave the meeting because I'm going to get back to the new member meeting. So any other questions?
I defer my question to the
Who was that?
session.
Okay.
Well, my question has been answered, so I'm deferring.
Okay,
it to
all right,
the
thanks,
other
Ted.
session.
All right, so I am done, and as I said, so again, I think that the other thing that I also want to say is that in the past, again, again, I'm still learning as I said during the nomination committee presentation. I'm still learning, and so we may have entered executive session in the past without me knowing the proper procedure for that. I apologize, but one thing you know about me, board members, is that if I make a mistake, I'm going to apologize to you and let you know. So I may have made some mistakes in the past, not knowing, and I'm only human, so I apologize to you. So on that note, I am done. I am out. Thank you very, very much.